So what's going on, guys? It's Captain America. Hope you guys are well, and thank you so much for coming onto this channel. So as always, starting off with the match stats. So in this game I was playing as a cam, a central attacking midfielder, instead of a defender that I usually am. Of course it was quite late night, so I was like, look, let me just give this a go, let me just try something different, especially as I always play as a centre back. So I played as a cam for this game, and for this game itself we had a 3-0 win. I had one goal as well as one assist, especially in this game. It was a fantastic performance on the second half side of things for me. The first half was again just me trying to understand the cam position. It's always very different and you have to just run around quite a lot. I was pressing as much as I can. I did have 6 possessions won. I did lose it 3 times, but regardless, the passion that I showed, leave it was quite good. I had a 9.3 rating for this, with the total game itself, 3-0 win. We had 10 shots overall, 5 from the opposition and 51% possession. But again, it was more like a fun game, just me trying out a different position. Even my centre-back partner was playing as a midfielder as well, so we were just trying something different just to give it a go. And of course, we weren't doing any friendly matches or anything like that, so I just wanted to, let's say, try out the cam position. And you know what? I was playing a couple of games as a cam, and don't get me wrong, I did quite well. The build that I have for the cam is like a 5'3", so very small. I think it's the smallest height on the game. And then I had him as 116 pounds for the weight. So again, if you're interested with the build that I have, overall my speed is 93. I've got passing, which is around 86. Rated, and then the dribbling's 88. So again, very predominant with like the passing and the pace side of things, and same with the dribbling. I don't really have that many, let's say, attributes for the shooting side of things. I think with me, I've just placed him more as a passing, let's say, master. Very similar to, let's say, Coutinho for this. But no, enjoyed the game, and it was a fantastic performance on my side. As mentioned, again, it was mainly second half that I did score, as well as show the assists and whatnot. But even like the first goal, for example, it came from like my pass, and then it was a pass onwards which led to the goal. So no, regardless, I think it was a great performance. And yeah, let me know your thoughts on me being a cam, and how I rated myself. And yeah, and how you feel that I was rated. I can't even speak today, sorry guys. Bloody exhausted, man. Monday feeling, it's exhausting. But now, talking about the game itself then, and the transfers that are being made, and what we're going to be talking about on the channel. So of course, we've got the summer market, which is upon us now. Where we're deep diving quite a lot into it. It's been fantastic with a lot of the purchases that have been made already. We've got the likes of like Bale now that's been moved over to like the Los Angeles, which was a surprising move, to be completely honest with you guys. I actually thought he was going to be moving to potentially the likes of Tottenham back there for like maybe a season or two, or some even like a club in the Premier League, or even like going back to like, I don't know, Cardiff for example, like just maybe giving like a Welsh team a go. But it's a surprising move for him to be in LA. But again, it's not that surprising, especially with the wage that he was with at Real Madrid for a while. And he was at the bench position for such a long time as well for Madrid. So I was looking a bit more about his history and everything like that at Madrid, and to me, he could have been such an amazing player. Like, just generally as a winger, he was always fantastic when he did play for them. And again, he's always said it as well, like, it's always been Wales, golf, and then Madrid. He's got the little banner that he does for them. But I think just overall, he's just one of those, it's similar to like Neymar, I feel. I think both of these two players, they've just gone downhill completely. But with Bale's situation, of course, he was injured and whatnot, but he just didn't give a crap. Like, there were so many situations where he was just resting and just relaxing. Like, even Ancelotti, he gave a chance to all of these second fiddle players, let's say, at Madrid, such as the likes of like Bale. You've got Hazard, you've got Diaz, Mariano Diaz, and you've also got the Luka Jovic, or whoever it is, that came from Eintracht Frankfurt. He wanted to give a chance to these players, but again, all 4 players were just very lazy, as per what he was mentioning. He gave Bale like, I think, a couple of games at the beginning of the season, but again, his mindset wasn't at Madrid, and it's always been like that for the past couple of seasons. Even if it was with Zidane, for example, it wasn't just the case. So interesting to see him move over to LA, or whatever, Los Angeles, the team. But again, it's a disappointment to see how his career ended up. He was a very similar playstyle, let's say, as Ronaldo. His free kicks were very similar. His running, his shooting, or whatever it is, his cutting in ability, fantastic. That we got to see that as well with Ronaldo, Benzema, as well as Bale, like in the very past, the early seasons that he was at Madrid. But no, I think it's going to be a retirement, let's say, money that he's going to Los Angeles for. But again, he's getting prepared for like the internationals and whatnot. Anyway, he's a first team player always for Wales, but no, I think that's a very surprising move. I thought he was going to end it at the Premier League or do something like that, and then move over to like Cardiff. But no, that's an interesting move for Bale. But again, talking about like the other players like Luka Jovic as well as Hazard, and you got these Mariano Diaz where they were purchased for quite a hefty amount, and even Hazard, he was in his prime when he was at Chelsea, so. Madrid bought him at his prime, but then I remember seeing like a video on his first season at Madrid. He actually gained so much weight. He looked like a fat Ronaldo at one point, and it just made me laugh because again, it's a whole different lifestyle in Madrid. You got the sun, you've got amazing food with the Spanish type of vibes, and again, he hasn't lived up to his expectations. Hazard, and of course he's been pipped with the likes of Asensio. You've got Vinicius Jr., you've got Rodrigo, whoever it is, playing much better and being in form compared to like Hazard, who hasn't done much. And it's very similar to Jovic as well, who for me has had he was like a one season wonder at Frankfurt, and it was an interesting purchase from Madrid at quite a big value as well for the time. And again, he wasn't really proven. He was very similar to like a player like Vlahovic at Juve now, who was playing for quite a while in the Italian league, and he moved over to Juve. But again, the play style that Jovic has, at Frankfurt, it showed, in the Champions League as well, and everything that he was doing for them. But again, he hasn't lived up to the expectations. So it'll be interesting to see where he does move on. I think, hopefully he does rekindle his goal scoring abilities. But again, from what I've heard, he's been very lazy in the training sessions, and just generally his attitude has been poor. So not very positive on that side of things, regardless of the club that he moves to. It might be like a Balotelli, he doesn't have that attitude, but again, he's one of those ones where he's got the ability, but doesn't give it 100%. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with these people. But again, we've got like the Premier League side of things. You've got Richarlison, who for me is a banter player. He plays for Everton, who he's always said like he's a good player and whatnot, but I think he's a crap. Like honestly, I've never rated him as a good player. Regardless, the team that Everton did have, they purchased some really interesting and really strong players, in the positions that they were, and you would expect them to be like, I don't know, fighting for Europa or whatever it is, like with the likes of like West Ham or whatnot. And for them to be fighting for relegation is just pure banter, especially like, they give him big mouth. They've always said as well, like, Liverpool is always a rubbish team, Liverpool City is blue, whatever crap. But for them, I really hope that they got relegated, I really did hope so. But, regardless, you got Richarlison now being, how do you say it, like rumoured for the likes of Tottenham as well as Chelsea. But I think Tottenham have a stronger rumoured presence. I think Chelsea are just looking at it just in case they can't get like Sterling, for example. They were also rumoured with the likes of like Neymar, but I think Neymar's going to be moving over to, I think, the Italian league. I think Juve are going to be purchasing him. But again, they're looking at wingers, mainly Chelsea. But let's see, I think it'll be interesting to see if they do buy Richarlison and where he would fit in. As we know with Chelsea, the recent number 9s or the strikers that Chelsea have failed incredibly. And we've noticed that with the stats as well. Like the only person that was decent since Drogba left was Elephant Man, Diego Costa. And since then, they've had a tumble with players like let's say the strikers. You've got Morata, you've got Higuain, you had Falcao on loan. You also had, Torres, Lukaku, you got Werner. All of these players did not live up to their expectation, and their values as well were quite high. The purchase that they purchased them for. And you got Lukaku, who had a fantastic season at Inter, and then now Man is going back to Inter Milan again after a season at Chelsea, which is just pure banter. So it'll be interesting to see where he will be positioned at Chelsea. And again, if he is given like the sole striker role, I don't think he'll do well. I think he might do well with the likes of like Tottenham, for example. But again, I don't know where he will be playing. They just bought Perisic as well. They're looking at other key players as well. They've got Basuma. They've got Son on the left. Maybe he'll play like just behind Kane. I don't know. But let's see. I think it'll be really interesting to see if he does move on. I do feel that he will, but let's see if he does go to Tottenham. That'll be a really interesting buy. And then, of course, we've got the banter club, which is United. Them looking at De Jong, which has been like the main transfer target of, let's say, this season. But, with De Jong, it's a funny situation because, the United offered, what was it United? I think they did offer money. I think it was like 45 mil or something, and then Maguire. But then No, I think it was the other way around, sorry. I think Barca wanted Maguire within the deal, but United are like, look, no, we just want cash, which I think is completely wrong. I think they should just get rid of Maguire. I don't know why they're keeping Maguire, because firstly, he should not be the captain for United. He shouldn't even be the captain for England. He's not a great player, and we've seen that over the seasons, especially the mistakes that he makes, like for United, game in and game out. But again, for Barca, maybe he might get, he might be a really good player. I don't know. I don't see him being a good player, but that'll be really interesting to see if he does move over to the Barca team. And for him to be on a Barca shirt, I think, again, it shouldn't be like that. I think, with the how do you say, the form that he's been in, and just generally the play style that he's been having at United, for him to move to Barca, it should be like a reward. But honestly, it shouldn't be a reward for him, because he hasn't been doing great overall for United. So that'll be interesting to see. But I do see De Jong moving over to United, and again Van de Beek, who's currently on loan to Everton, being moved back to United, and then them having that strong Dutch midfield that they've got the experience for, as I mentioned in my previous videos, with the likes of like Ajax and whatnot as well. So that'll be really interesting to see with De Jong. And then of course you've also got United, which is pure banter. This actually made me laugh. So Andreas Pereira has been playing at United for quite a while, okay, and he's been loaned off to Flamengo in Brazil. And I was reading somewhere a while back where they had a scout. Of course, you got like scouts that go to like South America, you got Europe. You know how you assign these scouts to like these areas to see like, scouting opportunities for these wonder kids, or even like youthful players, or even like just decent players that will be a right fit for the teams. So this United scout went over to South America, and he reported back like, look, I found a really good purchase for this guy that United should make. And they realised there was Andreas Pereira, who they've loaned off to Flamengo, who's doing quite well at, let's say, Flamengo, and they're looking at an opportunity to either loan him back, or whatever the case is. But I've seen that he's going to be going over to Fulham. I think it's for like 11 mil or something. But again, he hasn't done well for United when he has been with them. Of course, Brazilian league isn't as competitive or as physical as the English league, so of course he's going to be doing much greater than he would be at United. And we've seen that as well. He's had some in and off, let's say, seasons with United, but that just made me laugh, especially with the scout going over. They've paid a scout, he's flown over to South America, he's seen this guy, and he's like, ah, shit, let me report back. Reports back, and they realise that he's actually a loaned out player from United, which is just pure banter. So no, that did make me laugh. I hope you guys enjoyed that. But I think the main one for me is going to be, let's say, PSG, with the new manager that they're looking at. We've got who's it? The ex-Tottenham guy that's now left for them. He's leaving, especially with the season that they've had, and the players that they've got as well. Like in every single position that PSG have, they've got a very strong side. But of course, money-driven, very similar to like Man City, that haven't won the Champions League, and I don't think they'll ever win the Champions League, especially with the type of owners that they have, and especially when they lost out in the Champions League this time, they got knocked out. He was at a rant, like he was actually pissed, man. Like he was going and he was saying, "Oh, I'm gonna leave PSG. I'm gonna go to a different club or whatnot." But with PSG, they've got a new manager who's been fantastic for the French, let's say, league itself. He was at Saint-Etienne, who won their first trophy after 32 years with him, and then he moved over to Lille. Lille had done fantastic as well. I think it was last season, not this season just gone, but the prior season, where they won their first league for the French league after like 10 years. And he's been as a French manager in the French league, I think he's a perfect opportunity for them. But then when it comes to the European side of things, I don't again see PSG doing well. But again, his tactics have been working fantastically for these mid-table teams. And again, with Nice that he was with just now, he got to the Copa de France or whatever it is, the final, but he lost out. To Nantes 1-0. But again, just a fantastic manager overall. So it'll be really interesting to see how he does mould in with the PSG Rome, and if he does better them, or does bring less of the youth up instead of signing these world-class players. But again, you've got Mr. President Mbappe, who's leading the charge of the transfers and everything like that, as what Messi was doing at Barca for a while. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with PSG. But again, I don't want them to win any Champions League or anything like that, just to stay with the PSG Farmers League as such. I think that'll be key for them. But yeah, guys, we're coming to the end of the video. I didn't realise I was rambling along as much as usual. But again, I do appreciate your time. Please feel free to like and subscribe. As always, comment down below and your thoughts on this video, and anything that you do feel like I better myself in these videos and grow as such. But yeah, I'll catch you guys soon, and yeah, take care. Bye-bye.